Good morning. Today is Friday, July 17th, and we're looking at Luke chapter 3. So Christmas is over. Take down the lights and the tree. And then we were looking into chapter 3. You discover that this miraculous thing happened between the end of chapter 2 and the beginning of chapter 3, where everyone who was born in the first two chapters, or predicted to be born and was eventually born, is now fully grown and ready for ministry. So there we are. We didn't have much of the growing up. We just have a couple scenes, and then in chapter 3 we're all grown up and it's time. John the Baptist returns to here. We can hear him speaking now, and he's a little angry, a little crazy, and he does baptisms. And then Jesus comes to be baptized. We have the baptism of our Lord, and that is a similar scene that we see in the Synoptic Gospels entirely. So we're tracking with Luke, and we're tracking with Mark and Matthew now. So be prepared for that. There's three of them that have many similarities. So the baptism of our Lord, of course, is part of the liturgical calendar in January. And then what I want to talk about the most this morning is in chapter 3, we have something that's similar to what happens in Matthew in the very beginning, a genealogy included. It's very important for Luke to prove that Jesus is this. And so he includes a genealogy. Now, Matthew had a genealogy, and that's how he begins his gospel, with the genealogy. The genealogy in Matthew's gospel starts with Abraham and comes down to Joseph and then Jesus. In Luke's gospel, it goes backwards from Joseph back all the way to God. And I was looking at it because I know the story of Cain and Abel from Genesis, and it says that Seth was the son of Adam. Then Adam was the first son of God. So it goes back to it. And so, okay, there's a Seth in there, and it's good. It's become a popular name. So is Adam. And what's interesting about that is that where did all the wives come from? Anyway, just kidding. But it goes back to Genesis, this genealogy. And so I was trying to look at it and read through all these names. And I know this is really what gives the liturgist at Christmas time a lot of angst, because we have to read them in Matthew and there's a lot of different names. So if you have your little notebook like I have mine to make my notes in. So I made this comparison this is very high tech, between Matthew and Luke about the genealogies. And you see the Joseph they agree on right at the top. And then they have some similar names, like Eliakim is in Luke's list. Zerubbabel, love saying that one, is in Luke's list, but they don't coincide at the same level. And I kind of gave up because it seemed like a fool's errand to keep writing down these names of these. But there's some interesting types of names in here, and I just sort of gave up on it. But that was sort of where I went with this chapter 3, this strange genealogy that is the ancestors of Jesus, this section in Luke that lists these ancestors. And then that's it. So we have the baptism, the sky opening up, and then we have and God saying, "You are my beloved son, with you I am well pleased." Then we have this listing of ancestry, back to Adam, back to God. And that's the end of chapter 3.